We'll be with you in a minute. We're coming. Don't worry. Party people on there. I will, and we'll get ready. I'll get ready to go there and set things up. Okay, that's fine. Whoa! We're still there. Hang on, we're just getting ready. This thing's set up wrong. I can't adjust the tripod. Oh my goodness. All right, let me see. I can put that here. I got to get chairs set up and turn on lights, turn off the fan. Hang on. You get to see our living room furniture. Ooh. All right, let's see. Will that work? I got to turn this thing some more. How do I do that? Hey, sweetie, your mount's on wrong. No, cancel. I don't want to stop the live stream. I know. So unprofessional. Shalom, y'all. We'll be with you in a minute. We haven't started yet. Then I'm going to take the mount off somehow. I don't even know how to do it. This is not my camera. There we go. Well, you got it on at a 90-degree wrong angle. There we go. There we go. All right.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. Can you turn that light on when you go by there? No, over here.
Well, give me a second. I'm not even out.
She's not even out. Do you see? We invited you too early. We're not ready. I'll go turn on the light. Hang on. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. There's 2 chairs. We can probably bring it closer so you can hear us and see us. I know. If we'd have thought of this in advance, it would be better. But you get the unadulterated us. SK's like, the house is a mess. I know. It's okay. Whoa! Earthquake. All right. Now, why did that do that? Sweetie, I do not understand your camera. There we go. All right. There we go. Hi. Welcome to Sister Kate Shofar Mountain. She doesn't like the way her hair looks. I will turn the camera so she can sneak by you and go do something about it. Do you see our very small house? I can't see any of your comments yet, but I will. We were sitting out on the front porch and a couple things. Don't want to steal SK's thunder. And I said, why don't we do a live stream? All right, I'm going to read some comments. It's okay, so is mine. Becca Repurpose. Shalom, Becca. Rachel. Franklin Farmstead. Hi. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. All right. Hi. I know. I can't start yet without my partner. Look, messy. Messy. Good evening. Eastern Long Island.
Oh, that's got to be Paul Gorecki.
Ah, SK knew who you were.
Yeah. It's on the schmaltz end.
All right, I'm going to get my other. Oh, I have to post a link to this on my Patreon. And I hope I have enough battery. 27%. Bear with us, please.
What is all this?
It's just, so I'll fix the camera once you sit down. I know, SK, she doesn't like it when it's disorderly.
We can't read.
I'm gonna set it all up, sweetie. Right now, we'll just shalom. I can't make this equal to us. You look very little. What are they saying? Picked up. All right. Let me go to YouTube. You can talk a little bit while I do this.
Well,
just nothing particular. Just entertain the peeps.
I'm not ready.
Oh, you're not ready.
I was outside.
Okay, well, you can tell them you're not ready.
And putting stockings, knee highs on my grape bunches because they are now as big as peas. And when you have grapes, you take all the leaves from around and above. What do you?
Just keep talking. Don't worry about me.
It's not distracting or anything.
No, you can do it, sweetie.
Anyway, when the grapes are the size of peas, you put the sunlight can reach the grapes. But I put these stockings on it. It's my theory, and I've only done it a couple of times, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It at least allows moisture in and light in on the grapes, and so hopefully they will ripen in there. And they have ripened in there before, but sometimes there's bugs in there, and sometimes the mold and stuff will still get at the grapes. But if I don't do it, then raccoons and deer and birds get the grapes. So I guess another way to do it would be to cover the whole plant area with some kind of bird netting. But I don't have any right now, and I'm really busy. Yeah, is the sound good, y'all? He said.
I can turn the fan off.
He can turn the fan off if you guys can't hear us, and I still can't see the comments. Picture,
I'm gonna fix that too.
Picture is distorted because we're moving. If we move, then it pixelates us.
Well, we'll sit still soon enough. What about the sound?
Westhold Ford says, yep, it's good.
Okay.
So you need to do this. I've done these before, trust me.
She's an expert.
She
just wants me to look little. See, now I look little.
We need to get a little closer, and I move this closer, which
okay, I can do all of that.
poor planning.
Look, I told you, I got this. You're getting us raw and unadulterated.
Okay, there we go. That's a bit better, and I might even be able to read. Very pixelated.
I'm going to get you the comments. Very pixelated. That's on your end. Actually, we live in the middle of nowhere, so.
The pixelation is the camera itself. It pixelates when we move around a lot.
You don't want to look at our ugly mugs anyway. Come on.
Have you ever looked into the Starlink system? Well, we know what it is. I can't say that we've looked into it. Caught a swarm of bees
Oh, that's cool.
Caught a swarm of bees in my yard yesterday. Pretty stoked
Yeah, I have
about that.
one bar. See,
Love free
one
bees.
bar.
That's awesome, Rob. Man, I wish we could catch some free bees. Actually, a brother brought bees out here, and I haven't checked on them yet, but hopefully they're doing okay. And there's the patio bowl. Hi! Do you have a setup for bees? Oh, at Rob, Chasing Life. She's a moderator, and there's Lone Star Living, another moderator.
We have moderators? Cool, so I can just be me.
Yes, I have Starlink. It's really nice. It's super fast. Good to know, Lone Star Living. We can look into its availability in our area. Picture is looking good now because we're holding still a bit. There's USMC Kaneohe 91. Shalom P.
Kaneohe Bay.
And Viking Nation. I haven't seen you on a live stream in a while. Good to see you. There's Northern Ozark Homestead. Good evening. And there's Dragon Shield 1776 and Rain Cat Studio. Hey,
You were just talking about.
I need
That's
to
a
get
her,
your thing.
right?
Yeah, she's a she. I need to get your thing. I want to talk about it because it's really, really cool. Give me 2 seconds.
All right. And now I have comments, so SK is not going to have to like up on there on the screen.
One hopes. You got to make sure to read it.
Hello from Kentucky. Shalom, Adnir. Abba Servant says hello. MI Prepper. Texas has them. Ozark Geek. Shalom. Doesn't look like you melted yet. No, Ozark Geek. SK and I left during the heat of the day and went to see a movie,
Where
which
did
we'll
we
probably talk about. Don't tell them where we went.
We left?
That's upset.
That's OPSEC right now.
But we went to see a movie.
We did. We decided since we were going to go out and we
E.E. Healy. Shalom.
Hey,
He said
shalom.
hello from Adirondack,
Yeah.
upstate New York. Julie Clark. Hi. Palmetto Paratrooper. Yes. Top Gun.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to handle this, or do you want to do
Yeah,
that?
I do, but I want to read her letter first.
She likes reading your comments.
Rain Cat Studio sent me a package.
I watched the North Band too.
And we did. He loved it. I hated it.
Go figure.
Rain Cat sent me a package, and she didn't. I don't think she let me know what might be in it. I talked about
All the cool kids are now here, Travis.
in the video.
Now that you're here.
Good thing he gets me off track, so I
Sorry.
can't remember what I'm saying.
responding
About.
to the peeps.
I like to do the peeps too. So anyway, she sent me some.
You
seeds.
can keep talking. He wants to see the. Well, the dogs are right there.
Yeah. All right. So in this tin is a small stone. All right. She sent me this cute little tin. She always look at her note. She always packages everything so cute.
You sure you want to overshare?
No,
Okie Storm Chasers here. Everybody's here.
Hey, nice to see
NWA
you.
Prepper was
Okie.
right. All the cool kids are here.
All the cool kids are here. So this is a stone she acquired while working on the Temple Mount sifting project. And if y'all watch my videos, you know I mentioned that project in one of my videos.
Smiling Mary's here.
Hey, Smiling. I lived for a
Pete
month.
Wilson.
Please don't do that when I'm reading.
Okay.
Thank you. I lived for a month in Israel in 2008 and had the fascinating experience of working as a volunteer on the sifting project for 2 days. I wish I could return and spend a week or 2 on it. The stone is one that came from under the Temple Mount. The archaeologists at the project told us they may go back to the first temple time period.
Ooh.
The small red stone is a piece of pottery dating back to the first temple period as well. Imagine. And so here are these things. Here's the stones from the Temple Mount. Right
Just
here.
hold it up. You can hold it up.
These 2
It's a rock.
stones. It is a rock, but if you think about it, how historical these rocks are, it's pretty cool that she had them and sent them to me. And I thought there was another, I guess it's okay. So the redder one is pottery. And the other one is stone. Let's see. Oh, here's one. No, that's the pottery. That's got to be the pottery right there. Whoa. Can you see it? Back it up. This is a piece of pottery from the Temple Mount. So it could be 2,000 years old. And it lasted that long. That's fascinating. So thank you so much
Yes,
for
you're
sharing,
cool kids. You're all cool kids.
sharing those treasures with me, Rain Cat. I just think that is the coolest thing ever and so historical. that's what really fascinates me as well, is these came from the area that our faith is based on, and Romans ran around there and all those different things and historical.
G'day, Homestead Oz. How you going?
Is that Wayne or Lynn or both?
It says Homestead Oz.
Well, shalom, Wayne and Lynn. I hope Lynn's feeling better.
Mark's here, C103.
C103. Shalom, shalom.
So I'm actually the one who had the idea for the live stream today. Normally it's SK and she says, do you want to be in it? And as you know, normally I say no. But I was actually looking at some videos where people purport to know about Shofar Mountain.
Yeah, those are always fun.
They're fun. Most of them are very negative, but I watched one from a woman who's an avowed atheist.
Avowed. And
I actually thought she had a very fair treatment, realizing that she didn't know what she didn't know. And she made some gross assumptions that were incorrect. So I sent her a thing and I said, hey, contact me. I'd be happy to talk to you. And so I kind of had the idea, if y'all had anything you want to talk about Shofar Mountain, I may not answer your question. We may not answer your question, but we may. And so, you've got us here if you want to ask us. Now, do you want to handle the questions or do you want me to?
I think we both should look at them. Both of us, brother and sister. Oh, I'm so glad you guys are able to catch our live stream. And Lynn, I really
what time is it in
your mother
Oz?
Sue
Aren't they
on your video?
Is it about 8 o'clock in the morning, roughly? About 12 hours difference from us?
Good evening from Dave of the Colorado Vikings.
All right, Dave of the Colorado Vikings.
And Radco. I've seen that on live stream before. I've got to see when I might be able to get it. We haven't taken it for us.
Asymmetrical preparedness. It's a long process. It starts with an email to me.
Can my family?
And you can shorten the process by telling me all about you and your family when you send me the email, vikingservices@hotmail.com.
Asymmetrical preparedness is Michael up there in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest.
Have I met him?
I don't know if you've met him, but I've seen his channel.
Send me an email. Tell me all about yourself.
Former military guy.
Yes, there's Colorado Vikings. Go to a Viking meetup.
So, Homestead Oz, you're having lunch while we're finishing dinner.
What time is it in Oz?
11:30 a.m.
And what part of Oz are they in? Like northeast?
Yeah, they're in the northern part, if I remember. I sent you the thing.
I like your name. What's that guy doing?
I've been a Viking for years.
Whoa, I always wondered what happens to Shofar Mountain. I don't know what you mean by that. We exist. We carry on.
Well,
everyone's saying hello, hello, hello.
Well, hang on.
Everyone knows
Mike at Asymmetrical Prep.
But I don't really know.
Well, I do. And he's done so many cool things with his
Sweet
yard.
home Alabama.
And gardens and stuff like that. Lots of planting.
Do you really enjoy living in tribe, or do you occasionally wish you two had alone time? We actually make sure that everyone gets alone time. Some of it's fenced, like this is alone time, and we actually understand that people need to recharge their batteries and be alone. And I am an introvert, and SK is
extrovert. All right,
so,
you're not reading enough comments.
Well, you got to address them one at a time. So we're not going to get them all. It's okay.
I want to know what she said.
LOL, Mexicans, remember the South. Oh, she lives in the South.
Oh, you live in the South. I thought, well, you live in mountains. For sure.
When you die, I mean, I didn't see that part.
Hey, there's Grandma Ginger's farm. Shalom.
I'm sorry, I keep pulling over here.
He planted ginger today.
2 days ago.
By the way, Grandma
Overall
Ginger's
living.
farm.
Shalom, my brother.
There you are. Shalom. That is Brother Hobie.
I know.
Let's see. Is there any other questions? My name was a game reference. Are you affected by shortages?
Not really. We're not really affected. Gas has gone up a lot. I filled up, was it 8 or 6 gas cans the other day?
I think.
It was $150 something. So
Someone just asked, what is the hardest lesson in leadership you both have learned?
I know mine. I'll let you go first.
Of leadership.
Will you not publish any more lessons on Shofar Mountain Channel?
Hang on. To serve without expecting any return on your serving. To just serve and be happy. That's mine.
So my biggest lesson was we were in many survival groups, teams, whatever, mags, whatever you want to call it, throughout the years when we were in the Army. Every time we went somewhere, we joined one. And a consistent observation of my style was that I was too military and I treated everyone like they were in the Army and they're not in the Army, and you can't treat people like that. And so when we did Shofar Mountain version 1.0, I was super laid back, and honestly, I was too laid back. And I won't do that again. When one sees a problem developing, one needs to address it right then, not let it go, hoping it'll just go away. That's what I learned.
Hey, Patty Sanchez, shout out to you, and thanks for supporting the channel.
We're not going to answer that. You can treat people like that. They just don't have to take it if they're not in the Army. No, you're right. You're right. Everybody, that gate swings both ways.
Shalom Elcon 25. How's your garden doing?
So Edward Healy, I will publish some things on the Shofar Mountain channel, but here's the deal. I am no longer giving sermons. And so the way we study the Bible, we get together every Shabbat and we do what's called Torah portion, which is a reading in the Old Testament. You can just Google Torah portion. And so it's like a Bible study, and we basically take turns reading, and then anybody who wants to contribute, has a question, has a comment, has added a prayer, a thought, a hymn, we go with that. And so we end up going all over the Bible. But most of the people don't want to be on film. It doesn't lend itself to filming, and it's no longer the Joey show. So sermons aren't going up unless the father strikes me and says, give a sermon.
Also, Torah portions are in the front of a Bible. What's it called? Scriptures Bible, on about the 5th page. They all have names. They all have the same, every year it's the same verses in each portion, and they go in an order. And so you can figure out, okay.
So Franklin Farmstead said, do you still do weddings or vow renewals? No, I don't. I have retired as a pastor, and before that, I only did those things for the Shofarians, and before that, when we were at Round Prairie, for the congregants of Round Prairie. I don't see the need for some pastor who one doesn't attend their services to marry somebody. It's just weird to me. I did a video called Celebrity Baptisms. I think it was on the Shofar Mountain channel. Might be worth looking for.
Also, a lot of states don't require a pastor to marry you anyway. A lot of states will let anybody marry you, so you can pick someone you like. Oh,
thanks, Texas T.
That's nice.
Okay. Why is this not moving?
There's
New to Torah, got a couple from Grindstone. I'm still in Genesis, very deep. Oh, absolutely.
How did you decide to?
Where's that? How do you decide to be publicly visible? Okay, that's a good question. If I was totally concerned with just SK and I and the Shofarians, we wouldn't put anything on the internet. Nothing. Why should I? The reason we do is because I feel led, I think I'm called to preach the gospel, not only of Jesus Christ, of Yeshua, which I continue to do in my personal life, but of preparedness. And so we share what we share to try and spread the message and get as many people to prepare for what's coming as possible.
And the reason I do videos is just to share knowledge.
Hi, Phoebe.
And
Hi, June.
save people some trouble and some problems by giving you the best information I can.
Did you bake PJ an Army birthday cake?
No? Get out of here.
You know, I don't even know when the Army birthday is.
We sort of know
So here,
where the SF thing is, all right? It's in December.
So let me talk about this a little bit. My kids, our kids, I forget that I'm not on my channel. Our children were homeschooled for a big part of their life, and the world was different then, and we wanted them to have the high school experience. I would never do that again.
Never do it
But we
again.
put them in the high school, and as it turned out, all three of our kids ended up being the valedictorian of
their year.
Number one student valedictorian. And
they're super smart.
Our son was very popular and had lots of friends. Our oldest daughter was kind of in the nerd club, but she had like the nerd friends in her clique, if you will. I mean, very smart. All of them were very smart. They went on to become lawyers and doctors and everything, but they were kind of like the nerds, but they had them. And then our youngest daughter, quite frankly, had very few, if any, good friends, right? They were all kind of set upon. And the daughters especially sometimes would come home feeling bad. And I told them, look, there are people, I'm getting to the Army birthday. There are people who are going to look back on high school their whole life, like the guy in, what's that, have another quesadilla for the llama?
Napoleon
Dynamite. You know, it's like their glory days. That's a Bruce Springsteen song. Their glory days are always talking about high school.
Right.
I said, you're going to move so far. You're going to move so far beyond that. You don't even worry about that. And then when they went to college, I told them the same thing. I said, look, there's people who are going to look back on their glory days as college. Your glory days are never over. You know, so I did things. I was a Green Beret. Dun, 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 dun. Man, all that's in the past. All that counts is what's in the future, what's now and what's in the future. And so while I'm proud of my military service, while I'm happy with it, while it shaped who we are, that's not me. You know, this is us. So I don't even know when the Army birthday is.
Right. And the Army life was a life for 20 years. And some people make it their life. Like they are all about and have all the gewgaws with every place they were posted and all their things on their wall and all that. And that's fine for them. But it was just a phase of our life. And that's not how we identify ourselves.
You want to do that one?
What?
If you could go back and change one thing you did with Shofar Mountain, what would you change? I have my answer.
I'll tell you what I would do differently, quite frankly. Plan better, prepare better for coming here, because we came in November with zero infrastructure.
It was rocks and trees.
And I brought a horse, I brought 13 goats with me, I brought ducks, I brought chickens, and
we brought a $300 camper trailer.
There was zero, like it was just a mess, and I would not do that. I would get it all ready first, then come in a friendlier time of year, not the dead of beginning of winter.
So I was thinking something similar. I was thinking, bring in electricity and water. You know, we would have so many more people living here if we had electricity and running water. Then again, the people that do come and stick, they're harder.
For what is so wrong with having no electricity and no running water? Come on now, y'all. Y'all are tougher than that. Let me go let Kiki Puss in. Kiki Puss. Come on. Come in if you're coming. Oh, meow and just stand there.
You know, NWA Prepper, you just wrote feed 'em or fight 'em. I think you said it the last time I saw you, feed 'em or eat 'em.
Feed 'em or eat 'em. Nice. Do you notice how your side is all clear and this is what I have?
I know. Do you want to switch seats? I'll be happy to switch seats with you.
Yes. This is ridiculous. Look.
How do I get more people to come to meetups? I've advertised and posted locally. You know, you got to invite people. You have to, I mean, I don't know. That's the honest answer. You just have to cast a really wide net talk to churches, talk every time you see somebody. SK will tell you, when I see somebody in a cool car, I'm like, let's see if we can find out who owns that car.
What he
I
means
wanna
by
talk to
cool
him.
car, he means like a car outfitted with outdoorsy, gas cans and water cans and
Lights
rack on
and racks
top and the
and
light.
Pioneer tools and
Think about the kind of people you want to attract and go to the places where those people are.
I'm gonna squirt that cat.
Where are you going? The squirter's right there.
Oh.
If you want to get outdoorsy people, then make your note or your invitation or whatever at a place that does that, like at a range, an archery range or an outdoor store. If they have a bulletin board, put it up there. If you want to get people who like to read books, post it at a library.
Or people at meetups, tacos.
That's right. Have food. Food is good. People like to come if you have food. And not just junky food.
No, there's nothing the matter with wanting a little soft in the second half of your life. I am married to an amazing woman. What do you think? 98% of women would not put up with this.
No.
Yeah. I get it.
Maybe even 99.
I'm blessed. Do you ever get burned out making so many videos? Do you ever think you will retire from Patreon? Absolutely. How come what's that guy doing is the only one asking questions? But it's a good question. I constantly think about what's next, or if Patreon goes away, or whatever.
If you're on my channel, you'll notice I have times where I've got lots of videos and lots of live streams, and then you'll notice, oh, she's ignoring everything for like 2 weeks. And I may have forgotten what I said I was going to do a month ago. So you guys can remind me by prompting, in the comments section or asking questions about it. But yeah, of course. It gets hard to think of something to do videos on all the time.
I treat Patreon as my job.
Right.
And I try to put up at least a video a day, and many days I'm doing 3 or 4. And that's my videos. That's not me posting like a music video that we're dancing to in here or, whatever.
Right.
That's just like freebie extras. And yeah, sometimes it gets hard. I mean, it really does. And she's heard me say, I don't know what I'm going to talk about today.
I know. I'm more lax because I don't treat mine as a job. But I do start to feel a little guilty after a while, and I try hard to, think of things that will be interesting. I don't just want to put out junk though.
Soon to be moving off grid. Any considerations for safely siting the human waste compost bin? So, a lot of Shofarians use composting toilets. When done right, they don't stink. We used to give tours of Shofar Mountain to people, and I would stop them in front of our humanure compost bins, and I'd talk to them for a while, and then I would start talking about the humanure compost bins and say, see, you didn't smell anything while you were here. You don't want them in water. You don't want water running through them,
Right.
And into your water stream.
You
and
don't want
things
them uphill of your house in case wind
Water.
blows or water or anything like that. You want it in an area that should be able to absorb if there's liquids or anything coming out and not harm them. Hopefully near plants, because the plants will absorb and help take care of all of that.
Show them, Nick.
You also have to cover the compost with something. You know what I'm saying? Not the compost. The waste stuff has to be covered by some kind of carbon thing. We use mulch, we use peat moss, you can use leaves, sawdust, straw, all sorts of stuff, but mulch and peat moss both are very absorbent. Hey, Texas T, thanks for being a supporter of the channel for 5 months. Appreciate it. There's Jay Morris. Shalom.
Hey, Jay.
Silver Crane, Kempo, Kung Fu. I saw 1 acre for $50,000. That is not a good price. Do you think?
Location.
Right. It must be somewhere.
Yes, the property prices are going down. I've been reading about that. It has to do with inflation and interest rates going up, and so property prices are coming down.
If you're in New Jersey, maybe that's a good price, but there's rural land that's way cheaper. We know a lady.
Evelyn Vincent's here.
Hey, Evelyn. Shalom. We know a lady who lives in rural Kansas, and
Philip Hales.
she has land available near her that's $2,000 an acre. Kiki Puss wants her snack.
Hi from Michigan.
Come here, Kiki Puss.
So are you a Youper or a troll?
You're a troll. That's the big
Up north homesteader. I'm just looking at your questions. Power out in central Ohio. You know, we have a neighbor who texts me when bad weather's coming in because he has his TV going all the time, and I never have my phone in my hand. And
He's a Buckeye.
he's a Buckeye also. And he wrote me one time and said, you know, all the little characters you use for cursing, wrestle, schmessel, wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. My power's gone out 10 times today. And I just texted back, oh, really? I hadn't noticed.
Nope. Doesn't really.
Why did you paint the avocado green? Because the person who lived there wanted to paint it green. And so we then called it the avocado because it looked like an avocado.
It also blended well with the forest, and green is the color most geniuses prefer. Ooh.
So when we first started Shofar Mountain, we had a community discussion, and I said, "Look, I like order," and I said, "The way I see it, we can go two ways. We can have the really bright, like Caribbean colors, you know, sky blue, lime green, bright yellow, orange houses and things, fun things, or we can do basically earth tones." And everybody voted on earth tone, or the vote was for earth tones. And so that's what we went to. And so kind of the rule now is it has to be roughly an earth tone, nothing gaudy. What is
Look
that?
at her causing problems, man.
What, you just want to, I'm going to squirt you. Yep.
That's how
Can you believe
animals
we
are.
have a cat?
That's how animals are in live streams. They always want attention.
Would you ever consider doing a book club of some of the books you have recommended? I don't know what that means.
I mean, like read the book out loud and
No, I would not do that.
discuss.
Can you screenshot your library on Patreon? You know, I've done a lot of videos in my library.
I knew I liked green for a reason. That's all right, Wes Holmes.
That's right. You're a genius.
And thank you for supporting the channel, by the way. Shout out. Yeah. Palmetto, exactly right. Okay.
Questions, comments, dirty looks? You have us. You have our relatively undivided attention.
It's definitely divided. It's 50, 75, 25. Shalom from Brazil, y'all. Back to Eden.
All right. I'd like to talk about Back to Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Before we came here, I did not know how we were going to grow crops to be self-sufficient. And one of the things I thought about was we'll just build a bunch of raised beds and I'll bring dirt from, I was an idiot. The things I didn't know, the things we didn't know, I'm going to bring dirt from Kansas to fill the raised beds because there is no dirt here. It's trees and rocks. I'm going to do a video pretty soon of where my sheep were fenced in the forest. And it's just like so many rocks. When we first came here, we had bulldozers clear this area out in front of us to build the houses. And we designated part of it for the garden. It was in February and we wanted to plant our peas. And we had to use my grandfather's pickaxe from the coal mine to plant peas. Literally, like the ground was that a mess. And so we did the Back to Eden method. I don't want to go into it overly much. Just Google it on YouTube. Watch the movie Back to Eden Garden, the movie. Watch the whole thing. Pay attention, then go back and watch it again because so many people watch it and take off running and screw things up. There's very specific things.
Yeah, very specific details in there. Thank you very much, we the people.
But we now have a garden that has good dirt in it. I mean, it's been 10 years. But
Carrie,
we like it.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you
Carrie.
Back to Eden also, we now have soil in the garden area because we've done that in multiple years and everything did eventually break down. But this year I got fertilizer just to make sure that stuff would grow. Do y'all do potatoes and what kinds? We do. We have potato plants out in the garden right now. And I like Yukon Gold, and I like actually I don't have a favorite. Like I like all three. I like red potatoes, I like white potatoes, I like Yukon Gold.
We have lots of gardens. Keep going.
And I'm trying to remember the varieties. Like Kennebec might have been one of the names, and another one started with an M. It's whatever our local co-op sells. And we got them in early. We get them in before St. Patty's
She
Day.
says we like I have anything to do it. I've tried to grow potatoes several different ways. I'm miserable at it. I grow peppers and squash really well.
You know what? That reminds me. Our daughter sent me a text about planting potatoes, and it was
See you,
based
Carrie.
on old Irish techniques. And so you just dig a shovel full of dirt and flop it over
We don't use
towards
fertilizer.
a center line. I just said I used fertilizer this year.
You did?
Yes, and it's 13.
What do I know? Maybe that's why my potatoes don't grow.
It's 13, 13, 13. That's what I've used because my grandpa used to grow enormous vegetables, and he would use 10, 10, 10 every year. So back to the potatoes. You flop the shovel full of dirt towards a middle line, and you do it on the other side, and you just make a row that way. And then you plant the potatoes in that row you've made. And it's worked great for me 2 years in a row. And
All
it's an
right.
old Irish way to do it.
Smile and Mary, would you consider a large farming family community a MAG? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
Sure, why not?
Here's the thing. A MAG, a mutual assistance group, it's people, I think, who have made a conscious effort to help each other. In this area where we live, there are and different people call themselves different things.
Can I see that? You
Yes,
keep
we
doing
call
that.
ourselves a tribe, and so we have our own thing going on. But there are other groups around us that we have connected with. Some of them are on here tonight, and I think of that as our MAG, our mutual assistance group. We have done enough things together that if they called us for help, we would help them. If we called them for help, they would probably very likely come help us. And when we get a good deal, we share it. So consider a MAG whatever you want. It's a mutual assistance group. Will the people in that group help each other? That's kind of how I
Okay,
look
so
at it.
next question. I really like this one, and I can answer it.
Okay.
Franklin Farmstead. The 4-year-old says hi again. She loves watching PJ and Bear with us.
What's her name?
Hi. Any tips for keeping kids cool in this heat? Yes. Many ways to keep cool in the heat.
Tell them about the first time we came camping here with our little girl in diapers.
Yeah, our baby was still an infant, and it was 100. Whoa.
Tell them about the first
You do that. There we go. Thanks. It was midnight. It was 100 degrees, and so what we did is we put a bandana on her and kept it wet so that the evaporation would help cool her down.
I'm gonna let the cat out.
Yeah,
okay?
give me this. Something else we've done here when we had or have a freezer, or even you don't have to have that. You can get a cold pack that, if you just flex it, it'll be cool. And sleep with that on your chest or your belly. So if the child needs to go to sleep, have them lay on it or put it on the back of their neck. You could also do that with a wet washcloth. We have gotten those bandanas that are for cooling, and you snap them, and it's cooler, and use that. A fan makes a difference. Even if it's one that you don't have, you have no plug-in, there are fans that are battery operated that China Mart sells. And we used to sleep with them like right near our head and neck, and just having that blowing on you can
Mrs.
help you go
Lovely
to
Dudley.
sleep. Hey, shalom, sister. Something else is the shade is 15 degrees cooler than direct sunlight. So if the kids need to play or something, have them play in the shade.
13, 13, 13. What is it?
It's 13% phosphorus, 13% nitrogen, and 13% something. It's just numbers on fertilizer. Also, something you can do for fertilizer that you don't have to go buy is rabbit droppings are excellent fertilizer you can put right in your garden. And we have rabbits. I haven't done it yet, but I've done it in the past. and it makes a huge difference in your plant growth. So if you know someone with rabbits, you can go ask to get the manure.
So I saw a couple questions. How far out is far enough for coon hemp? My little tongue-in-cheek rule of thumb is if you can have a pizza delivered to your place, you're not far enough away. You're not far enough out.
You definitely don't want to be near a large city. Large meaning like millions of people. Hey, what else?
Yeah, somebody just said that. Philip Hales said that. Good job. He's been paying attention. Oh, somebody asked us what we do for downtime. You want to tell them about today?
We went and saw a movie.
What movie did we see, Sister Kate?
We saw Top Gun.
Top Gun Maverick.
Yes.
What did you think?
I thought it was actually a pretty good movie.
I've been reading that it's not woke. What do you think?
It's not woke. It was not woke at all. A lot of homages to the original Top Gun, which I think is smart. It reminded me of how Rambo kind of, Rambo 1, Rambo 2, but the last one or two kind of brings all that stuff together as the actor and the character have aged. So it was good. I thought it was worth the money. And it also reminded me of when we were in our 20s, right? It's 20s, early 20s.
Evelyn, if that's the Wet Willie pose, sure, I approved it.
Right.
Wet Willie's like,
yeah, in
in
the
the ear.
We're around Tom Cruise's age. So when he did the first one, we were about
He's
the same
around
age,
our age.
and the same for this one. So it was kind of bittersweet in that way too. Other downtime stuff.
What do we do for downtime? Some days we take what we call a 0 day, and we don't schedule them. Usually it's the day before or maybe 2 days before, and we say to each other, we're going to take a 0 day. And a 0 day is not. We probably work harder on a 0 day than the average suburbanite does on a regular day.
We always have chores.
We sleep in late, whatever that means, and then we get up and do our chores, which is basically feed the critters, take care of the critters, water ourselves, bring water in the house, that kind of thing, composting toilet, that kind of thing.
We read a lot of books.
But then we don't do anything. We just kind of hang out, read books, surf the internet. I don't really like, that'll be a day I skip a Patreon video, or
I watch
just like,
series on Netflix. I watch things.
What are you
on
watching
Amazon.
now, SK?
I think my guys know this already.
They know. Oh.
It's Resurrection Ertugrul. It's about the Turkish medieval drama, historical based, fascinating to me about the culture, and found out that the warriors in that time frame, they're portraying them as, very, very skilled warriors. So I'm like, yeah, but are you patting yourselves on the back? Are you imagining this and you're really a bunch of slugs? No, if you go into history at that time frame, their warriors were really skilled.
Shalom, Jason.
And they did a lot of fighting, and they were very effective because they were cavalrymen, but they also could shoot bow and arrow and use spear, and then they could unhorse and be infantry and fight that way hand to hand.
J.A. Dudley, shalom, my brother.
And with swords and knives. And so there's a lot
D.L.
of stuff in there.
Hemingway.
You just have
I'm
to
just-
every single time.
You just keep going. I'm just letting them know I won't
You're
be able to
very
come back.
loud, and you're right in my ear.
Well, I'm very
with it.
forceful, and I'm a type A personality.
Right. It's just a really good series for details on the culture. All right. Hi, DL. Hi, JA. See, now I'm mad.
Westhold Forge has a medieval Turkish sword. He made it himself.
Really? Are you calling
See
it
ya,
a
Mark.
scimitar? What are you calling it?
Oh, Jay Morris. This isn't our Jay Morris,
this is not
though,
the
right?
Jay Morris we did the live stream with. This is another Jay Morris.
We know many Jay Morrises. Shalom, Sheepdog Tanker.
I love that name.
I do too. That's a cool name. Like, I picture you in like a M1 Abrams, 60 tons of homogeneous steel.
Okay, somebody just had a really good comment, and it's already cycled through, right? No, not that. The one above that.
Sister Kate's going to blue wrench you out, PJF. No, she's not.
Don't get mad at me, said J.A.
I'm not getting mad at my brother
Honey, he's
J.A.
talking about me. So I was like, I'm mad.
Oh, OCOP, shalom.
Shalom. She needs to go to sleep. Good night,
Go
everyone.
to sleep.
All right. Very patient woman and forgiving. That is true. I am.
She is. She's a lot nicer than I am. Raincat made pizza. Ken, I just commented to Ken earlier today. Hi, Ken.
He's using planters for a garden. So no Aunt Millie in the U.S.
In us?
No, I don't think so. Because don't you talk about Aunt Millie all the time?
I do.
San Francisco actually finally got sick enough of the crime to recall their district attorney.
I saw that.
Good. Yeah. You make bad decisions, you're going to get the results of it. And you might get tired of it.
19 kilo 20.
Uh-oh.
I don't even remember what my whole MOS was. It was long. It was 18 Alpha Sierra
Don
Victor,
Schultz said, I'm the Aunt Millie.
48 India. I am Aunt Millie.
That's
All right. Good for you. Thoughts on large-scale post shit hits the fan food production? Yeah, you're gonna need protein. This is something that we're kind of new at, the realization within the last year. You're gonna need protein. You're gonna need to raise protein in addition to all your veg. And
Got lots.
we're working that hard.
Lots of thoughts on large scale food production, Kyle. And okay, we have lots of thoughts on that. First thing is growing crops is not going to be easy if you can't mechanize it. You're going to need a whole lot of manpower to even till and plant in an acre, right? So that's one argument for having a mag or a group or a tribe or something, because there's so much work that needs to be done if it's not mechanized. We have already decided there's two other ways to do food large scale that's going to be less work than that. And I'm not saying don't do crops. I'm just saying it'll take less time if you, one, plant fruit trees, bushes, and everything else, because once those things start producing, your labor is just keeping bugs off of them, and then the actual gathering and doing something with the fruit from those trees and bushes. The other one is ranching. If you can domesticate an animal and keep a herd of something like sheep, cattle, goats, whatever, fill in the blank, llamas, and you protect them and provide for them, they're going to keep producing food too. And when you butcher like a cow, that's a lot of food. If you're going to have a big old tribe, you're going to need more cattle. If you're going to have sheep, then you need a bunch of sheep. But there's things that go to make that a little bit easier on you.
What kind of sheep do we raise?
Katahdin, it's a meat sheep. Probably a mixed Katahdin. One thing that doing animals helps you with is you get 50% female and 50% male. And I'm here to tell you, having half your herd bulls or rams or billies or roosters, you eat them because they will fight each other. They will tear the females up. The bigger animals will knock your fences down, knock you down. And so it's actually a good thing that you're like, you know what? I'm sick of that bull. And you go out there and you butcher it. So those are two ways to do food after mechanization is no longer around, gasoline and all that. Orchards and ranching. And then do your crops and stuff too. But if the crop fails, you still have some food. And I'm going to add on to that because I'm on a roll now. Look out, I'm on a roll. Watch out. Is dairy. Our son is, the reason I post some of his videos on my channel is because he and his wife are actually doing the dairy thing now. They have 2 dairy cows and they hand milk and they get, 8, 10, 12 gallons of milk a day. And then you have all the extras from that for your food. You can make butter, you can make yogurt, you can make kefir, you can make cheese. And they're using those milk cows with orphaned calves to make more beef for themselves. They have 6 calves, I think now, maybe just 4 on the 2 milk cows, but they're going to butcher one and sell 3 or something like that. So livestock is super important for after a crash, as well as having a garden and crops. There.
Totally different subject.
And
Dragon 1776 said, "What do you think about all those patriots that were arrested in Idaho?" Do some research on COINTELPRO. They are either feds, a false flag run by the feds, or complete idiots. So I don't care what happens to them. That's what I think.
I don't know anything about it. You'll just have to take his advice.
Philip Hales agrees with me. See overall living. How's the sheep learning curve going? It goes. We're doing good.
They're doing all right. They definitely have learned if they yell at me, I will throw things into their pen for them to eat. I gave them a lot of lettuce. Oh yeah, Maddie, she's
Nick Malone, what's your recommendation for how many canning jars to have? More
lot.
than you have now.
a lot.
And lids are the thing.
Yeah, in a good year, and we had one up in Kansas that I still remember because it was a good year for canning. We canned 278 jars full of tomatoes and squash and stuff like that. And I don't think that's a lot. I know people who have 500 jars or 1,000 jars. So lots of jars. Lids and bands are important to have. Bands can be reused, so you want to take care of them. Don't let them rust. Don't let them get all bent up. But in, SHTF situation, you want to think about options for canning. Once you run out of those jars, you can use wax to seal jars with.
If you have it.
If you have it.
Paraffin.
If you have bees, you can use beeswax. Or pickling is a good alternative because pickling will preserve things, and you don't necessarily have to have it, completely sealed and in a refrigerator and everything. And the reason I know that is because we went to a living history farm, and it had 3 different homesteads on it. It had a German, French, and English, right?
And then they had like an American frontier 100 years later.
And the English homestead had the crocks. I don't think I have one sitting around here, but you know what I'm talking about.
Can you can zucchini water bath or only pressure?
Oh, I would say pressure. It's got to be a high acidic
food,
but
bath.
if you're doing it as a pickle, I think you can water bath. Anyway, the English farmstead had a little crock on the counter, and so I was like, "What do you got going on here?" And she said, "Oh, I've got pickled carrots." And pulled it out, and I said, "Don't you need to keep this chilled?" And she's like, "Oh no, it's fine in the way it is." So I thought, all right, you have that 5% acidity vinegar, then you can pickle stuff. And
lots of people are agreeing with you.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Do you grow or use any medicinal plants?
The medicinal plants that we have, we do grow them. We don't normally use them yet. I have mint, I have sage, I have oregano, I have chives, I have fennel, I have comfrey, and the comfrey's doing really well, but I haven't had to use it yet. Hyssop. And so I've got 3 magazines and a couple of books on herbal use for, teas and ointments and all that stuff with these, as well as the plantain.
Is County Offaly in Ireland? It's not Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah, T. He was on, or she was online the other day.
It's a he. It's got a beard.
Oh yeah, he's Irish. I like it.
Aaron Gobra.
Yeah, Aaron Gobra. And what's the other one? Sláinte. Or is that Scottish?
Sláinte. I think it's Scottish. It's like cheers, like skull.
Right.
Prost.
Yeah, I think it's
Banzai.
Anyway,
Gambe.
elderberry. Yeah,
I know how to toast in a lot of languages.
Elderberry. It's an antiviral. We have those growing wild here, so we have elderberry.
No ginseng.
And we have blackberries and blackberry leaves and raspberry leaf for tea, and we have blackberry root. I keep that because it's an astringent.
Is comfrey a pain reliever?
And I gave him that blackberry root tea for the cold he had recently.
And where did we learn about blackberry root tea?
From the Prepared Homestead. Because
Travis. That's like the first
too.
video I ever saw of his. She showed it to me and said, look at this guy. He knows what he's talking about. He talked about removing the dead canes out of your things. And we took that and ran with it because he sounded like he knew what he's talking about. He did. And then just recently we got to meet him in person and hang out with him, and he's a great guy.
Nice guy.
What's it called? Prepared Homestead? Give another push.
Yeah, Prepared Homestead. I don't think comfrey's a pain reliever, but I'm not sure. I haven't used it yet. Excuse me, I thought it might have been one of those things you use on broken bones, but it could be wrong. I do have a book, so I can reference that. I have mulberry growing now. We also have onions, the walking onions. So we've got a lot of herbs that we can use.
What do you think about Freemasons? They're evil and they're trying to control the world. You know what? That's a bunch of crap. I mean, it really, I'm not a Mason. I have no intention to be. I've known some. Are the elites drawn from the Masons? I don't know. Maybe. But you're what, stepfather?
Yeah, my stepfather was a Mason. And
he was like the highest degree of the Scottish Rite, right?
I don't know if that's true.
He was like a 32nd degree Mason.
Are you sure?
Yes. I talked to him.
Okay.
He was a dude, man. He was a working class dude.
Volunteer firefighter.
So,
worked for the lighting company.
What do you think of dentists? What do you think of bankers? Are all bankers evil? No. Some are normal people who are bankers. Some are freaking evil. What do you think of actors? What do you think of Hollywood producers? What do you think of army generals? It's people, man.
People can be evil no matter what they do. We did have a friend who was in the military who started joining the Masons and said it was just straight out satanic worship. But that's hearsay.
I'm not a Mason, so I can't speak to it.
Stupid cows ate my blackberries I planted this year.
They'll
probably come back, though. The cows probably didn't tear them up by the root, and they're very... I don't even know how to describe it to you. They're very not voracious, but blackberries, they'll probably come back.
What is your luxury morale booster drink of choice to stock up on? The Macallan 15.
Hennessy VS.
Oh. Or is it VS?
I think it's just VS. I got to meet you at the Prepared Homestead Expo and enjoyed the visit.
Okay, hi Jared.
Awesome. Yes.
I have a bottle of the Macallan 15 that I'm waiting for the apocalypse, and I have a bottle of Blanton's, which is the bourbon that's in John Wick. Very hard to get. Both of those are my apocalypse bourbons.
We do have Mullane. Mullane grows here. We
and
brought
why?
it with us.
I was gonna say, why do we have it here? Because you brought it from Kansas.
Somebody else. Hey, there's Clark Giles, brother
Clark. Shalom, my brother.
We like seeing you and talking to you. And Sarah Hoskins, if it was a wild...
No ginseng on our mountain.
Wait, we need to answer her question. That's Sister Sarah. And if it was a wild berry, the seeds come back out the other end, right? So maybe you were... Oh, she's answering someone else. Oh, she's answering someone else's thing. Yeah, white berries probably aren't good. Diet Coke. Nah.
No, I don't drink any soda.
Hey, there's the Revolting Man. Long time
The
no
Revolting Man. Shalom, my brother.
Yeah, long time no hear from you. Hope everything's going well. I don't drink hard liquor often, but I've been stocking it for barter. Tell you what, people who like to drink it will definitely barter for it. I need to call you. I owe you an apology.
You don't owe me an apology for nothing, brother.
Do you guys do homemade wine? Dusty? I do. Yeah, and I have videos on my channel about making that wine. And just a real quick thing, Grandma Pat's Wild Grape Wine is the recipe I used. And then I did sand plum wine last year. It was really good. And I'm not a very heavy drinker, very light drinker, but it's also great for cooking and giving as gifts.
Thimbles. So somebody said coffee. Do you
know? Oh, wait a minute. No.
No.
Shalom, we are well. New baby, Revolting Man. How many is that now for you? 14?
He has many arrows in his quiver.
He's got a football team, that man. Well, mazel tov to you. Did plum wine and it was amazing. Yeah. Smooth and yummy.
So I have a lot of coffee stored, believe it or not. I know you find that hard to believe. I typically drink 2 of these a day of coffee. I've decided recently I'm cutting down to 1 just because for a while. I have periodically gone off coffee for like a month or month and a half just to prove I
I
can.
love that channel name. Behind Enemy Lines, watching from Southern California. Yeah, you are, buddy.
What type of alcohol do you need for tinctures? The best thing for tinctures is the cheapest rot gut vodka you can buy. Tastes horrible.
It's any kind, really, I think.
No, it's vodka. You need a clear white liquor.
Okay, there you go. Instant or regular?
Oh, I have both in great quantities.
Okay, wait, there was already did that. Everclear. All right, sorry. Yep, keep going. 100 proof vodka, said Jason in Virginia. Jason Reborn.
Hey, Jason, what part of Virginia are you in? Because we've lived all over Virginia.
As a bartender?
I'm actually a son of the Commonwealth. And no, you're a foreigner.
I'm a foreigner.
Born, you gonna tell them where you're born or not?
Why don't y'all guess?
Do y'all know where SK was born?
Guess. I want to brew and moonshine, but not at that level by any means. Well, you will be able to do that after the apocalypse, but a lot of states won't allow you to make stuff like that.
Fredericksburg, okay.
Yeah. We know where that is.
Yep.
Alpine, no. Yeah, Elkhorn 25 remembered. Cyprus, that's right. I was born in Nicosia, Cyprus. Kentucky, California, Tennessee, not even close. It's a little island in the Mediterranean Ocean.
Being contested still today by the Greeks and the Turks.
It would be CYP-US, Elkhorn, but wow, good memory. Hey, Florida. Hey, get out of here.
Florida woman? You think that's a Florida woman?
Come
on.
You know Cyprus isn't in Florida. Get out of here. Just store lots of sugar.
So, I was just talking about this to the Shofarians. We have probably 4 or 5 buckets, 5-gallon buckets of sugar. And it's probably about 30 or 40 pounds of sugar in each bucket. And I bought that for jam, quite frankly. We have blackberries and stuff in abundance here. Oh yeah, she wants to come show you now. And so for the apocalypse, I want to have a lot of sugar stored because we can't really make sugar here.
I should raffle it. But tell them our
No, you're not going to raffle it. I told you, I forbade you from doing that. Hey, thank you, James. Shalom.
So for...
What are we talking about? Absinthe 1, whatever. We're talking about whatever.
Hang on now. Sweeteners used in
Somebody
the good
was
old
gonna
days.
Guess Italia.
Before
Buongiorno.
white processed sugar was honey.
Buonasera.
Everybody, that's a duh, honey, and grapes made into raisins. Raisins were used as sweetener
Yes,
for a
Paul
lot
is
of
there.
old recipes. Okay, so here I want to show you. This is the wild raspberry jam right here. I've been picking those berries. I'll actually go get some because they are so good. And I made it, and it is like nectar of the gods. It is so tasty. And I told Pastor I should raffle this, but he's like, no one else. We're not sharing it. So let me go show you the berries.
Wow, thanks, the patiable.
Patiable. Thank you.
Thank you, bless you. I know nothing about Donkey Speaks, and 119 Ministries has good basic teachings as long as they're not prophesying the end of the world. Kind of blew that one.
Little hit or miss on that guy. All right, so I just want to show you. For those of you,
I know one of the guys in 119 Ministry, and I like him. He almost was a Shofar.
well, they're nice people. They're nice.
And they're
people.
solid people. I mean, they
Right.
are solid people.
They may have got the
Just
Daniel,
don't let them prophesy to you.
Yeah, the Daniel Revisited, they got completely wrong, but they're nice folks. All right, so here's a wild black raspberry right here. They're smaller than
Let
a
me see.
blackberry.
Are you sure it's a raspberry, not a blackberry?
Yeah. I picked that guy today, and it's sweeter than a blackberry, and it's got a nice mild flavor. And I didn't make wine this year from these guys, but I tell you what, I think wine made from those guys would be fantastic. So here's the blackberry. It's got a little bit of sugar on it because I'm getting ready to do shortcake with it. And that is the raspberry. So it's smaller. It's a smaller head and a milder flavor. And oh my God, that jam is so good. Highly recommend picking those wild.
Hey, can one
raspberries
of
if you have
you moderators get rid of Pastor Ron Plumline Ministries, please?
No way. He's still around?
I know. I was surprised he was still around. Just gone forever. Please.
Oh my goodness. And then pray for that poor fella. All right. There, I'm back. Oh, okay. And what do we got going on here? What people?
Life off grid looks horrible. Yeah, it's a burden, let me tell you.
Wait, go up to Westhold, please.
He said his people who do sorghum aren't doing it anymore.
I know, that's so sad because sorghum makes a good sweetener too, and I'm glad you keep bringing that
Hey,
up.
absinthe, have you ever had real absinthe? Because I think it's like illegal, like
In a lot of
in
places.
America, right? In the U.S. And didn't they call it the Green Fairy or something like that? I've looked it up
Some
a couple
kind of
times
hallucinogenic.
and tried to read about it. Have you ever had absinthe? And if so, discuss.
I think it might be legal in New York or LA.
There's a lot of fake absinthe out there.
Pollinated sunflowers is always sweet here.
He's not a pastor.
He's not. He needs prayer. Wait a minute. Yes, in Japan, and we would smoke it off of a knife. Gusty, what?
No, absinthe is a booze.
It's a green booze.
Nick, no, I'm not offering training anymore for non-Shofarians, and it's really a time thing. Sorry, I'm not in the training game anymore.
But I can highly recommend you just contact the NRA and do a basic pistol course and then an advanced one if you need, firearms training. Now, if you want super duper whatever, then you're going to have to go to a different school for the gunfighter type skill stuff.
I've had real absinthe. It was ridiculously expensive, but we had fun. And don't they call it like the Green Fairy or the Green Genie or
green,
something like that?
Green beanie.
I would try it if it was available and legal, of course.
I've had real absinthe. It was ridiculously. Oh yeah, wait, hang on. Come down. Yes, and you can light it and blow fire.
Well, you can do that with Bacardi 151.
Is inoculated wheat okay for making bread or only for planting? I would think you wouldn't want to make bread with that.
What does inoculated mean?
But what does that mean, right? Green goblin. That's what it was called.
I don't think it's a green goblin.
Green fairy, someone said. Green genie. Patrick Fleer said it is legal.
I've heard it makes people hallucinate. I don't know that I would do it if I thought it would make me hallucinate because I think that gets into pharmakia.
That's right.
We're not supposed to do that.
Not supposed to do it.
Oh, I much prefer scotch. I've never had absinthe, but probably I would prefer scotch.
Yeah. Only for planting over sugar, it turns.
It's treated for bugs. No, you don't make bread out of something treated for bugs.
Yeah, no, you don't want to try to have some kind of what do they call it? It's not fertilizer. Bug chemical in your food? Come on.
Insecticide?
Yeah, insecticide. You don't want that. You don't want to eat that. I'm so envious of you guys. I'm married, father of 4 in Central Florida. I'm very close to convincing my wife to move northwest of the Appalachian Mountains and east of the Rockies.
Yep, good move.
Good move. Pesticide. Yep. Thank you, Wes.
Kaneohe 91. Semper Fi. I paddled boats around Kaneohe Bay one time, flipped them over, did all those, what were they called? RB-17s, I think, those big rubber boats back in the day. I think it was before Zodiacs.
Didn't we also go to a beach there? Maybe not.
Yeah, no, I think we did go to, there's a beach at Kaneohe.
Absinthe is now legal. I've had it. It turns green when you pour it over sugar.
That's a frog. There's many frogs. I'm surprised you can hear them. They're outside.
Yeah, they're definitely frogs. I mean,
SK loves her frogs.
That's
Why
right.
do you were just telling somebody today why you like your frogs?
So we went.
To a smart kids toy store.
Yeah, because we had a little bit of time before the movie started. So we were walking around. His idea, not a bad idea, checking out stores nearby, and there was a smart kids toy store.
Yeah, and like a teacher store.
And half of it was a teacher store. So we went in and looked around. We got a thing or two. Noted that it was there, and then as we're checking out, there's a frog in a little
aquarium
right by the thing, and there
some African whatever frog.
Prince Herbert
and
was a dwarf African something frog, and I'm like, oh look, there's a frog, and then
what
you asked if is that thing real, because it was just suspended in the water, and they both, because it was a young couple who owned the store, perked up and were like, yes. And he was 13.
They were a couple?
I think so. They sure acted like it.
Huh.
13 years old, this frog, and he did move. And I said, well, what does he eat? And they're like, oh, these pellet things. And so the guy dropped some pellets in.
He did.
And the frog went for the pellet. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then they told us that frog is 13 years old, which I thought was pretty impressive. And the man said, oh, they're only supposed to live 5 years in the wild.
I think it was a dwarf African clawed frog.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, Hunter Kirk. And so that was kind of fun. And I explained to him, well, we're frog friendly. We have green frogs and bullfrogs. And someone answered the question already, because I want them to eat mosquitoes. The more frogs and toads we have, the less mosquitoes we'll have.
And tell me about the dragonfly that you told them about the dragonfly that you told me about
right
today.
And we also found out that dragonflies eat a lot of mosquitoes, but we had a problem in our ponds because dragonflies need a stalked plant for their larvae to climb up. We didn't have any, so when my daughter put a lily pad in there, now we have dragonflies. Awesome. So I went up to lock the chickens up, and I heard a buzzing noise, and normally that means a bee, so I'm looking around and I hear it in the plastic fencing that I have there, and there's a dragonfly who cannot get out, which I'm like, just fold your wings up and go, because the space was pretty good size. No, it just kept trying to fly, so I kind of just pushed it, compacted it gently, and let it go through the hole, and off it flew. And I'm like, good, go eat some mosquitoes. So yeah, I like the frogs. Because
so behind enemy lines said, Pastor Joe, are you familiar with Pastor Dow?
A little bit.
Very.
There's probably a video or two out there.
I think I took them all down.
Well, he may not have.
Huh.
I have frogs that sound like a lamb.
Ah.
Yeah, we have those too. Sometimes we make that noise. Is it a frog though? It sound really a frog and not a bug?
Clark, I saw that news story about Russians putting troops in Nicaragua. And then I saw somebody talking about, I actually called them to task. They're there to take care of the biolab that's in Nicaragua that the U.S. put there. If the Nicaraguans wanted to take care of a biolab in their own country, they could do so. But yeah, I think they're going to Nicaragua, and we're in trouble. Hey, America, the United States of America, gang, is done. I'm not happy about that. But the Republic is not coming back. To your tents, Israel.
Hey, I'm going to ask y'all a question.
Wow, Mike
What?
Bunk. Bless you, brother. Thank you.
Holy cow, Mike. That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Mike Glover is a former Green Beret. That is all I'm going to say about thoughts on Mike Glover.
Dang it. And now I was going to say something. If you guys heard me start on it, please remind me of what I was going to say. Nicaragua, Russians. Oh, the America's done.
America's done. Stick a fork in us. We're done, Sir John Glenn.
So, do any of you think, because I thought this was a really cool thing that Brother Chris said. He said, the dark winter is over, the starving summer is coming. And then I said, what are you talking about? The World Bank says there's tons of food in the world. Distribution is the problem. And he said, well, when you have inflation and you have unemployment, which there's a lot of, there's jobs to be had, nobody wants to do them. When you have the people who have the COVID rent relief no longer getting COVID rent relief and can't make their payments because they're not working, you're going to have a bunch of homeless people. And gas prices going up $6 in Illinois, that's going to take a huge bite out of people's budgets. And I think that kind of lends itself to what Pastor said about America's done. Imagine, or just in your mind, remember 3 or 4 years ago when Trump was president, gas prices were less, no inflation. People were buying and selling houses right and left. The housing market was great. There weren't nearly as many for hire signs out there because unemployment was the lowest it's ever been. And in 2 or 3 years, the Biden administration has just completely trashed the whole country. And we talk about the Carters. Carter was a Democrat too, and he had soaring inflation, sugar shortages, gas shortages. He made 55 miles an hour the speed limit across the country. He set government office thermostats to like 62 degrees. I know this because my mom was still working.
We
there.
set our house at some crazy temperature.
And she would go to work and have
Carter,
to take
we were American patriots.
Right, a sweater and a jacket with her to keep herself warm enough to do the job. So that's why I'm not about Democrats. Although, you know, many of you and my husband too argue it doesn't matter anymore. They're all up there and they're all in the swamp and they're all in on it.
I'm out. I'm not playing the game anymore.
Right? So there is fatally bleeding and there is no medic. And Wes S. is old enough to remember the things I talked about too. Very few people want to work anymore. The pandemic, everyone's staying home. They like staying home. They can go to the shower.
I like staying home.
Excuse me.
It would be hard for me to go work for somebody else.
You know, read a book if they want. They don't have to be under that, you know, boss, wear a uniform every day, get yelled at, all that pressure. And
yeah, I'm gonna need you to come in tomorrow, and I'm gonna need you to come in on Sunday
and wear this
too.
BlackBerry and be available 24/7 and all that. I mean, it's a productive lifestyle, but it wears on people.
How much longer are we gonna go?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you can take this.
Okay.
I must refresh my adult beverage. You will pardon me.
Hang on.
Pardon.
The militia, no.
We don't.
I'm not a Trump MAGA man, but he predicted this in Philip Hales. And I'm not saying he was a great person, but he was good for the country for whatever reason. The president of Mexico called out the U.S. today, saying what Biden is doing by funding the Ukraine war and supplying weapons is immoral. If Mexico is calling us out, I'd say we are done. Well, and I've already done things on Ukraine.
Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
Ukraine is very, very corrupt. We as citizens will eventually have to clean house in D.C. I'm not saying anything about that. I like staying home, but still work every day doing the things, says Jason in Virginia Reborn. And actually, being able to do your work online while at home, I don't have a problem with that.
No, absolutely.
That's a benefit
way to
of
go.
the digital age.
Produce your own goods,
right?
Sell.
Or produce your own goods to sell. You know, make your economy a local economy. I don't have any problem with any of that. I think that's a benefit of the time we live in. I need to retire so I can stay home. Just buried my father-in-law. It was really hard to go back to work. Sorry that you had to do that too. That's a very stressful situation. I can't get vendors like plumbers, electricians, or landscapers to even come to my property. And that's not going to get any better, I don't think, brother. People just don't want to do that thing. You need those skills for yourself, or you need to have your mag or your group or whatever and share those skills with each other. Ask me how I know. Ferris Bueller said Moonlight. Yeah, right? Set apart one. Love the t-shirt Hebrew Israelite. It is a very old t-shirt, and it was something sold on Pastor Dow's channel. Evelyn Vincent, my son did the math. When gas hits $7 a gallon, it will be too expensive for people who make $30K a year to go to work. So what does anyone think will be the answer to that problem?
What's the problem? I'll give you an answer.
If gas hits $7 a gallon, it will be too expensive for people who make $30K a year to go to work.
That's absolutely right. It will be. So they will either have to, well, I think everything's going to go up in price, including pay. And pay will only go up to the amount that it needs to keep people coming to work to get the job done. But yeah, if people are like, hey, I'd love to come to work, boss, but it's a losing proposition, the boss is going to have to pay them more money. And then the boss is just, that's going to be downstream effects, which are going to be more money for whatever that boss is producing. And then you're going to have to pay that, which means you're going to need more money. We're going into quite possibly something like the Great Depression. And the less you are dependent on the system, the better off you'll be. If you have we produce our own power, we get our own water, the Father gives it to us from the sky or from the ground, we have a well. You grow as much of your own food as you can. You have to try and muddle through what's coming before it builds back up again, or you're just going to be horrible.
Or be someone who can produce something that other people want, like making wine.
So
like
I used to work in a 2-man office, and my partner was about 10 years older than me. And so, he'd been in Vietnam, and we would talk about when this whole thing collapses, everyone's not going to be living in little hovels, eating worms, right? People are going to make it. So how does one position oneself to do well when everything crashes? Because even when Rome fell to the barbarians in the Dark Ages, there were people who came out the other side very well off, perhaps better than they were when they went into it. And so how do we position ourselves to be that guy or gal? And my friend had great wisdom, and he said, there's 2 things that always make money. And I'm like, what? Because I was approaching retirement. I'm thinking, what am I going to do for a job and that kind of thing. And he said, bars and whorehouses. It's actually right. Just saying.
Okay, so Dusty made a comment. There's a lot of good comments here. He said car traffic has gone way down.
Oh, yeah.
The jig
and
is
motorcycle traffic has gone up.
I talked about that on a video recently. Scooters, mopeds, motorcycles, gas efficient. To stand a chance, people must be willing to die for it, not just kill for it. The Republic of the United States. Is it worth the lives of your children, wives, husbands, etc.?
The Republic of the United States is gone. It's gone. I know I sound terrible, but
all right.
Doesn't make it less true.
7 armed security guards for our 100,000 public schools, paid $50,000 each, with an additional $50,000 for an equipment and training budget, would cost $40 billion. The same amount we gave to the Ukraine.
How many guards was that?
7
per school.
Per school, 100,000 schools.
Hey, look. They are not on your side, and this doesn't have to make sense. We're going down. There's another power rising. I suggest you all learn Mandarin. Ni hao ma.
Ken Fannin. I got my Paleo Yahweh shirts the other day. Nice. I like them too. If pay goes up, prices go up. Yep. Dragon Shield 1776.
I'm liking Dragon Shield more and more.
I liked all these people. Get bicycles now.
Oh yeah, you should have SK and I have 2, at the time we bought them, $70 Huffy mountain bikes. Certainly not your $4,000 Trek. I bought extra bags and panniers that go on them. I bought extra inner tubes. I bought tire pumps for them, and I bought baskets to go on the front of them. We don't ride bikes, but we have bikes if we need them.
Get walking shoes. get boots.
I'm getting ready to buy whatever. Lately, here. Can I go get my boot and show it to the people? Get the boot. Das Boot.
Think about mules and horses also if you can ride.
So this is the current pair of boots I'm wearing. These are Bellevilles. I probably paid somewhere around $100 for them, and they're starting to get to the point where the leather's cracking a little bit on here, and I'm like, okay, I should probably. They have a lot of wear left in them. But I'm like, I need to probably get a new pair of boots. And the last time I needed a new pair of boots, I bought 2 pair. And I'm getting ready to buy 2 pair. And the way I shop for boots now, my terrain is different from your terrain. I need real boots here.
Real boots.
Real boots. And these are military boots. These happen to be Bellevilles. I've bought Ultimas. I've bought, they're just standard military boots. There's nothing sexy about them. I don't want the lightweight sneaker boots because we have rocks here like you wouldn't believe. I'm not doing the little ninja walk up the stairs. I'm walking through the forest and woods. But boots are a thing. I remember when I was in college and the Contras were really big and going on, and Soldier of Fortune magazine had a boot drive. Because these guys are walking around in little FARC boots, little wellies, high rubber boots. And I actually sent 2 pairs of boots to be given to the Contras. Get yourself some boots. Get yourself some footwear that is suitable for your area living outside.
Right. And now we're probably way behind on the comments, but I thought all of these were worth talking about. Walmarts are trying to make shelves not look so bare, stretching items out.
I've heard that.
At what point does that ability end? Same person said, Buzzard Prepper said, hearing truckers are sitting at truck stops waiting on diesel in some areas. Moonlight said, electricians speaking of a wiring shortage. The industry I work, HVAC, is having equipment shortages and crazy lead times. Right?
Because everything we have is made in China.
And we said it at the time when they started shipping all our stuff overseas. We're like, what happens when they decide they don't want to sell to us anymore?
China is our number one enemy.
This is just
China is our number one enemy. Mark my words.
Nixon,
look, her fingers pointing.
Right? Nixon was the one who was an ambassador to China.
He opened it up.
Then Bush went.
Clinton gave him the supercomputer. Clinton
made them most favored trading nation status. Walmart exploded after that.
Remember when Walmart was all made in the USA?
Remember when Walmart was just one store? Is that coincidence that the governor and then the president of the state where Walmart started blew up Walmart in China and all that? I'm just saying. Any word on China physically invading the U.S.?
No, I've seen that. That is so much crap. I don't even want to go into it right now. Believe me when I tell you that's garbage. Okay. You don't need to worry about China. You need to worry about other people who say they're in charge. What is this coin that I just found?
All right.
999, find something. Copper.
Yeah, my brother gave me that.
Don't tread on me.
Mm-hmm. Someone said hello, Shofar Mountain. Are we
Shofar?
Yeah.
Shofar, so good.
Someone else made a comment about how we're misusing a shofar by having it as a person blowing it. Whatever. Like it's
you go do you, boo.
Right? It's a ram's horn.
It's actually a kudu horn, but
or kudu horn, whatever. It's just a horn.
It's a horn.
Clark Giles. Even with the high quality boots I wear, I go through 2 to 3 pairs a year.
Me too, Clark.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over.
All right, Silver Crane Kempo Kung Fu says TSC has feed shortages. I have not noticed that.
We have not noticed that here. Matter of fact, we blew off going to TSC for feed today because we would have had to cut across 4 lanes of traffic.
Do you
and we're
feel
going to get it tomorrow.
As if America will default on the national debt soon? I think that would be the smartest thing for us to do.
I think we should nationalize our debt.
I think we should nationalize that debt. Yes, I do.
Look, second time in seconds.
Calm
But
down.
then the T-bills would go away. But who cares?
Calm down. Ooh. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
What happens to the vaxxed, says Dusty.
They're dying.
I do not want to curse anybody because I think a lot of people who got the vax thought they were doing the right thing. And
Amen.
I think if anything happens to them, it falls on the shoulders of the medical companies who made it and the government who pushed it. That's who I think needs to be blamed first. And, you know, an experimental vaccine, if you had any medical issue at all, I just wouldn't have
You should
gotten
be
up there in
careful or
front.
this thing will get taken off of YouTube.
All right, that's all I'm going to say there. Unicorn Sprinkle said offshore food. I noticed snow peas and that fancy pants grocery since I'm growing some. It was from Guatemala. We are in a very fertile rural growing area, lots of horses and lawn stuff. Of course, right now food comes from all over the place.
Because we can afford to buy it from all over the place.
Fish
Life
from
is
Chile
good.
and grapes from somewhere in South America. And
We just had corn on the cob. Corn is not ripe yet in America, so it came from somewhere else.
right. I mean,
Probably Oz. You know, who knows?
that stuff is not, you know, a sign that the end times are here. It's just the way things are. Constitutional silver, just picked up some for future barter. Realized my silver eagles will be like trying to buy food with a $50 bill. Yeah, but just cut it.
I was just talking the other day. I had the idea years ago. I wanted to create Shofar Mountain shekels. And what did we just come up with the other day? A shekel is how many, what part of an ounce?
It's
Like 0.24 of an ounce or
of a
something like
gram?
that. It was so many
pretty
grams.
Small. It was
But
pretty
I
small.
thought basic,
11 grams for an ounce, I think.
it's
that's
28 grams in an ounce. I know
no,
that
but
from
I'm
my
saying,
misspent
or
youth.
11 shekels per an ounce.
Whatever. It
So
doesn't
whatever
matter.
that was.
I wanted to do 1 ounce and then 10th ounce Shofar Mountain silver coins, have them minted, and I figured I could sell them to people online and, you know, sell them to Shofarians, and we'd all have silver, and it would have our little logo on it instead of, you know, something else. And I thought, and I was just talking about that again the other day. We're not going to do it. It's just, you know, too hard to do, but.
Okay, Dusty says, I took it and bad things happened, but honestly, I feel better and stronger, but changed my life personally. I don't know what's going to happen, but happy to be with you. Well, good. Mary Steele said, thanks for your time. 4 o'clock comes early. Shalom, everyone. Good night, Mary.
That's an early time to get up, Mary.
Modern Yael, you don't have to do all caps. I think there's a lot of people who regret getting vaxxed, did it for a job or because of fear. I hope not, because again, if they needed that money, if a nurse was told you got to get this vax or we're going to fire you, and she was a single mom and had to support somebody, I don't blame her for wanting to do it. It wasn't as clear cut as people want to make it. Chasing Life said Shofar shekels would be very cool. I would invest in some of those. We're not promising anything right now.
If the startup is really hard and expensive. I've looked into it. I also wanted to get a brand that we could like brand our furniture, you know, that we made, and brand the leather patch that we attached to the hand woven, you know, organically dyed sweater.
And
things
who
like
knows,
that.
this stuff could happen in the future.
Might.
We don't know. We have ideas. And my prepper said eggs will be currency. I hope so. I got lots of eggs right now.
You know, am I prepper around here? I don't think so, because everybody has chickens. And we're kind of spread out. So
Moonlight said the folks in my company who are vaxxed are acting very strange, not as happy or bright as they used to be. Sorry.
Zombie apocalypse.
All right. Mike Pump said PJSK, more live streams. More live streams.
More live streams.
More. On a lighter note, I bought several of your t-shirts and they are great conversation starters around here.
Aren't they?
Bet.
Aren't they?
Behind enemy lines, remember? Southern California. I'm sure they really are out there.
Oh, is that who said that?
Yeah. I'm fitting to have a lot of eggs, said Clark.
Fitting?
Fitting. Hey, can you grab the jar? Can you grab a jar right over there? I'll do it. Here,
Okay.
you hold that.
So, Clark,
right
do you
back.
know the deal about you can take eggs? I've heard. I haven't done this. You can take eggs and crack them into a ice tray, one in each one. You freeze them hard, and then you like vacuum seal them in a bag, and then you can just decide how many eggs you want to pull out of there to use. Go ahead, SK. What do you have there?
Dun, dun,
Put it
dun.
closer. Put it closer.
Look at that.
Move it over this way.
Look at that. We got some dill. We got some onion. We got some
Onion.
garlic. Look at that. Yeah. Have too many eggs, but don't want them to go bad? Pickle and can them. They will last a good long time.
But wait, there's more. What different flavors do you have, SK?
I had curry and dill, but you can make them any flavor you want. Just make sure you've got a lot of vinegar in there. All right, there you go. There's my canned pickled egg.
Every Shabbat, SK takes this huge thing of eggs up there and says, for the few Shofarians who don't have chickens, take these eggs. Somebody just took them the other day. They have a lot of chickens, but they're hatching eggs, and so they said, we'll take these.
Curry flavor.
Curry flavor.
Lots of curry powder and garlic in the bottom. Yes. Got the recipe off of YouTube, so, you know.
Our person, was it T from Ireland?
Yeah, tea.
I know the Brits eat a lot of curry. Do the Irish eat curry?
Fish and chips. Tea. Send me some fish and chips. Oh, thank you for the donation. Whoever just did a donation, that was nice of you. Okay.
Can't garlic cause botulism?
What? Not when you pickle something. The vinegar kills all that.
Lady Smith said, beautiful SK.
Thank you. They didn't taste great the day after I did them because we tried them the day after. But 2 weeks later, you could taste the dill more, and I liked
Those
it.
eggs are drowned, they'll never hatch, said Wes S. You're right, Wes.
You're right, Wes. But I did have a chicken hatch 4 chicks this past week, and I was so excited because it's been a long time. Well, I won't say that. I have had very, very few chickens hatch eggs in the last 10 years here, and last year there were 8. And there was one hen that hatched one earlier in the spring, but that one.
See you, Teresa.
That rotten cat killed it.
People like our frogs in the background.
We pay them. They're extras. They have a union. They have a frog union. They even have a little Shofar Mountain Frog t-shirt. Yeah, we like talking to them.
I like your name, Modern Jael. Yael.
I have a goat named Yael. That's right.
That's the woman who stuck the stake through the dude's head, right?
Through the head,
yeah.
baby. Yeah. She's my favorite goat, by the way. Oh, good night, Teresa. I'm sorry I didn't give you a shout out. I didn't see you on the lineup.
No, Mike, they don't have a SAG card.
Thank you.
We're working them off the books.
Thank you for being a moderator, Teresa, and Chasing Life, and Wes S.
So Wes S says he's counting wolf spiders. SK taught me this thing. It's horrifying. We wear headlamps here all the time. We don't typically have these lights on at night. We have headlamps on, each of us. And if you go outside right now in the dark with a headlamp on, you'll see out there all these little glowing dots.
Like bluish, purple.
Bluish.
Little
everywhere.
Shiny. Looks like
they're spider eyes. Every one of them. And you have to wear it doesn't work if you're shining a flashlight like this. You have to have it like in line with your eyes. Oh my God. You're talking to a guy, well, you're listening to a guy who has slept out in all kinds of conditions. Just curl up with a poncho liner next to a rock or under a tree or out there. There are spiders freaking everywhere. Because I didn't believe her. And so I thought that was like glowing, whatever. I started closing in on them every time it was a spider. There are so many spiders out there.
But spiders, generally speaking, are good because spiders eat bugs and none of us like bugs. And so I like spiders for the same reason. And there are so many specialized spiders who prey on a certain moth or a certain beetle or there's even these little teeny leaf hopper bugs that are running around our property right now, and they drive me nuts. And there's a special spider that likes to eat them. And so if you have them, you're going to have a bunch of those spiders. And I'm like, good, come on in, guys. Come eat these bugs.
So mud daubers we have around here, they're called mud daubers, and they build these mud tubes that just are on your wall.
A wasp, right?
It's a wasp. And I like them because they stuff those tubes with spiders, because I don't like spiders. But I don't, SK and I get along. We're all right. Too many killer biting critters in the Ozarks. Y'all are hard as fuck for living out there.
I will say this, because I don't want to over dramatize our life here. I personally have killed at least 2 black widows here. And I think
I've killed many.
Has 2.
I killed some. Yeah, I killed many.
Yeah, like one of them was in this place when we first moved in, and I'm like, honey, there's a black widow in the bathroom.
See you, Dusty.
And he's like, well, I'm busy right now. I can't come in there. And I'm like, well,
I don't talk like that.
No. And I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, I'm not willing to let this black widow like wander around. So I took my shoe off and I just beat it to death. See you later, Dusty.
So,
hey, Patty.
If you haven't figured out yet, SK, who likes to pretend she's just a normal housewife.
I'm a housewife.
She's a stone cold killer. She will do you or it or whatever. Boom. Yeah.
Some things you got to be serious about.
Fort Lost in the Woods, Missouri.
Okay. Sirloin.
I have 32 1/3 sirloin cooked burgers.
No, it's 32 1/3 of a pound sirloin cooked burgers finishing up drying now.
Awesome.
Oh, they're talking about a freeze dryer thing. I'll bet you.
Palmetto Paratrooper. We love Palmetto Paratrooper. I was at OSIT. That stands for One Station Unit Training, I believe.
Well, they're having military talk. That's nice.
Snake killer. No, you know what? Sister Kate is the snake saver. I would kill every one of those snakes, and she grabs them, catches them, puts them in a bag, and takes them about 5 miles from here and lets them go.
Except the water snakes.
The water snakes, she does.
Or a copperhead or a rattlesnake. Now, I did once. This is a story I'd forgotten about a long time ago. In a house we rented in Kansas, had no soffits. Had like a concrete foundation, and they sat the house on it, and they didn't finish it. And
it was an in-ground house, so the soffits in the back of the house were 2 feet off the ground.
Right, so air would go down into this basement, and it was always cold down there. I'm like, what's wrong with this? And found that out. So
see you, Mark.
We had a homeschool area in the basement, and sometimes we had guests, like the neighbor kids would come over and play with my kids. And so they're all down there. And I think my son ran up and said, Mom, there's a snake down there and it's making a noise. And I was like,
because, let me just interrupt.
Okay.
We turned the basement of that house into half of it was kind of half finished, and we turned it into the homeschool room.
I just said that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm reading about snakes and spiders and
right.
So yeah.
I go down there, and the kids are. I think they may have had a pencil, are poking a snake, and this snake is a little gray snake with these diamond shapes on its back, and it curls its little self up, and it's going with its tail, and I'm like, step back, kids, step back, oh my God, it's a rattlesnake.
It was a baby rattlesnake.
It sure was.
The thing about baby poisonous snakes is, sometimes they're more dangerous than adult snakes, because an adult snake can bite you and not inject any venom. A baby snake will bite you and inject all of it.
And it can be more concentrated in babies. Depends.
Right.
So I'm like screaming and freaking out, and I run upstairs. I'm like, I need something, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got a paper bag and a pencil.
It was a lunch bag.
Right, it was a lunch bag, and I put it on one side of the snake, and I'm pushing it with the pencil, and eventually it slithered into the lunch bag, and I rolled it up, and I walked up the property, because we were on a pretty good sized property at that time, and I released it. And so many people are like, you should have killed that snake. That's a future rattlesnake, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I'm a housewife and a mom, and I just couldn't kill that little rattlesnake. I couldn't. I probably could have beat it to death with a boot if I wanted to, but I just couldn't do it. And there is, and I'm pretty sure it was a rattler, because I know there are snakes that pretend to be rattlers, but they don't have the actual coils on the tail. And this little guy even had those little button things. So I was pretty sure it was a rattler.
Okay, so Set Apart One said, okay, praise Adonai, no snakes here in New Zealand. Wow. Set Apart One, are you on the North Island or the South Island?
I'm sure we've asked that before. And
we probably have.
I cannot remember what they said.
We had a very good friend who became very high up in your government, Dean Bagent.
Dang.
And he ended up, well, I don't know what he ended up. Last time I tracked him.
United Nations stuff.
He was in charge of your fisheries, like off the shore minister of fisheries or something. We knew him when he was just a major in your army.
Dean and Claire.
Claire. And
she was a heck of a runner.
He taught me a lot about New Zealand and New Zealanders. Love that guy. Awesome guy. Great infantryman. Dean Bagent.
Oh, yeah. He even did that, it's Maoris, right?
Yeah, haka.
He did the haka, but he did the weird drink that they did, too.
Oh, that was called...
what was that called?
Oh,
it's the kind of...
Because the Fijians did it, too.
Right, it was a kind
What's that drink called? You know what it's called. They mash up some roots and make this thing, and it's like, woo!
Kind of a hallucinogenic...
Kava, hava, something.
Yeah, Dean even did that.
He was a cool guy. I like Dean. Okie Storm Chaser got bit by a baby cottonmouth. Kiwis.
No venom, though. Well, thank goodness. That wouldn't have been much fun, I'm sure.
Kava, yeah. That's what it's called, the drink.
Yep,
he doesn't know Dean. You can look him up. I knew an Israeli guy, went to the Q course with him, that ended up being Israel's military attaché to Russia.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Or maybe the Soviet Union. I don't remember which one it was at the time.
I cannot see those. You understand that, right?
Ha! That's okay. I'll tell you if it's fun for you. Look, he said the Maori do the haka war dance. Yep.
Yeah.
Lady Smith, my youngest got nailed by a rattler climbing out of his tank. Nasty. Lengthy heal time.
Yeah, this is not me dismissing how serious it is to be bitten by one. I don't want y'all to think that. I understand. This
Philip
is a very
Hale
serious
said
thing.
Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern of Kiwiland is a full fascist.
Oh, yeah, the Prime Minister. She's a young Indian woman, right? Jacinda?
Ardern?
And
Ardern doesn't sound Indian.
Well, she probably got married, but she shut the whole country down when COVID came out. Isn't that correct? And kept all your COVID numbers really low?
First woman on Everest. A Kiwi.
First to invent a submarine.
A Kiwi.
That was Dean.
That was Dean. I love Dean.
He was a little bit aggressive about how accomplished
Kiwis are.
And we're like, we're just normal, average Americans. Like, we don't even think.
Set Apart, whatever your name is. One. I have an observation I made. Correct me. Kiwis and Aussies. When I first met them, I couldn't tell the accent apart. At the time that we were living there, I could tell the accent apart. Once we were working with both of them, I could tell them quickly. To me, it seemed like Kiwis were very much more refined people than Aussies. Quite frankly, I got along with the Aussies because I'm kind of like a redneck. And, they like dogs and guns and the outback, the ones I knew.
I thought they're very refined.
I'm not talking about Dean, but they were very, they sipped tea. And the Aussies drank Tui's or VB or something.
Mark was not a Kiwi, though. And Mark
was an Aussie. Mark was very refined.
Very refined.
Yes, he was.
He took the tea bag and just dipped it in, and then that's it. That's all he
was more like a Kiwi than an Aussie.
He wouldn't leave it in there. And they all liked karaoke for some reason.
There are no poisonous snakes in the Willamette Valley in Oregon.
Okay.
So, Sarah Hoskins, my dad lives on the Mackenzie River. Truth. Elk hounds going to bed. Good night, elk
Good night,
hound.
elk hound.
There are some real working class kiwis here too. I'm sure there are.
But they don't drink Foster.
Oh no, that's what they export. You're either a VB or a Tui's man. Personally, I like VB.
There's a palmetto steel chopping military stuff. That's fun.
And being a truck driver was like one of the most dangerous jobs for a time.
Right? Good night.
Do you guys want to hear a ghost story about Foster's Lager? If you do, say yes.
It's not really about Foster's Lager, but
It kind of is.
I've been in the.
I didn't know T-Rex was here. Shalom, brother.
Hey.
We got some brothers coming to see you soon.
Sarah's been in the Mackenzie. Us too. Done a little fishing. None here on the peninsula, said Rain Cat. Thanks for supporting the channel.
One more. Okay. I'm going to tell you the ghost story.
Oh.
I won't tell you all of it. SK and I lived together in sin in college in a house.
But we're married now.
We're married now.
That's a whole nother story.
And when we first moved there, the people told us this house is haunted by the ghost of Mrs. Wright,
who supposedly lived there during the World War I time frame, and her husband got killed. And she was very
and
unhappy.
So many scary things happened in that house. We determined that Mrs. Wright's spirit, this was then, all right, just go with it.
Some of it was self-inflicted.
Yes, we determined that her spirit was coming from the basement. And I'm going to make this story shorter than it needs to be. But weird things would happen in that basement. Believe me when I tell you.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the stereo would turn up and down.
Stereo would turn up and down and
stuff.
yeah, just weird things.
Weird things.
And the guy who lived down there, so you go down the stairs from the kitchen. It was a house built in 1927. Steep stairs would go down to the basement right outside the kitchen. And there was a bedroom right at the base of the stairs that somebody lived in. And then most of the house, there was a door at the base of the stairs going this way. That was just like empty, unfinished 1927 basement where we kept our suitcases and the bike we weren't using because it was wintertime and just stuff. And the guy who lived down in the basement where Mrs. Wright was, trust me when I tell you that, he tried to commit suicide and he got committed and he left. And so a new guy moved in. And he was a black guy. And I say that because in my experience, African Americans are more afraid of ghosts than European Americans, in my experience. And so we told him when he moved here, when he moved to the house, hey, Mrs. Wright haunts this house and she lives down by your bedroom. And he's like, I don't want to hear that.
He was a nice guy, though.
He was a great guy. He played saxophone. And so one day he was talking to the landlord who lived in the house. She was like a 19-year-old girl. And he said, look, I want to put a lock on this door because I'm tired of people coming down the steps into my bedroom to go into the basement to get their stuff. And I was there and I'm like, hey, look, we don't go into your bedroom when you're down there and we're not poking around in your stuff. We're just going down the stairs and going to the basement to get our stuff out. Now, when you went down these steep stairs, straight across from the door, there was a shelf. And on that shelf was what, SK?
Foster's Lager's empty beer cans.
Because we drank a lot of Foster's back in the day, the big oil cans.
Not me. Him and other people.
And so we had a pyramid of these Foster's Lager's cans on this shelf. And
it's all true. I was a witness, and I was a sober witness.
Were you there when this happened?
I believe I heard the noise, so I was around.
We're there, and he's like, hey, I want to put a lock on this door so people don't go down in my bedroom. And I'm saying, hey, look, dude, we don't go down in your bedroom when you're there. We only go down when you're not here. And we're not poking around your stuff. We're just going in the basement to get our stuff. And he's like, no, I want a lock. And this 19-year-old woman who was the landlord who lived there, she was just goofing. And she said, oh, I don't think Mrs. Wright will like putting a lock on that door. And this guy didn't like ghosts at all. And he said, F Mrs. Wright. He didn't say F, he said the word. As soon as those words came out of his mouth, there was a horrendous crash. And every single one of those Foster's cans came off that shelf. Every single one.
True.
The shelf was like this much wider than the Foster's cans, and they were backed against the wall, and then they went up in a triangle. Every single one of them fell off the shelf and went down. And needless to say, no lock was put on that door, and he moved out.
True.
True story.
It's all
Foster's Lager. It's the stuff they export. All right, let's see what the people have to say. Budweiser. Bootbear. Ghosts are just evil spirits tricking people. You're right, Modern EL. FO Daddy's here? FO Daddy's in the house. Hey, brother, send me a text because I may not see it here. Do you want me to do a video on what you sent me? I'm happy to. I'm pleased to have it, the 2 buckets. Please send me a text or an email or something.
Absinthe, yes, I was there.
Who was there?
I was there when this happened.
Oh,
I remember the noise. I don't think I was right there in the room because I was probably like, I don't care about this conversation or something. I was a skeptic about the whole ghost thing, and I didn't really want to be included in it. I was
SK's not playing.
I was brought up Catholic, and know, there's a lot of things I'm not comfortable with. And so, but I remember the crash and coming out, and yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Ooh, Palmetto Paratrooper says every supernatural experience he's had was witnessing little balls of light that seemed lifelike and intelligent.
Orbs. They're real. Oh, Chasing Life. We've got spookier stories about that house, but we just can't go into them now. But you know what's a powerful tool? I can say it on your channel because you're more religious on your channel than I am.
You don't allow me to do a whole lot.
Rebuking in the name of Jesus or Yeshua. That works.
Very effective.
SK was here when this happened. She witnessed it. Yes. Oh,
that's the same.
You already answered that.
I already answered that.
Full moon rising in the wispy clouds. I haven't been out there yet.
It's true, though. I've seen the partial, almost full moon.
Any questions? I mean, you have us. It's like you're sitting in our living room because that's where we're sitting. Seriously, is there something you want to talk about? If not, Eddie Murphy did a funny point about why don't people leave the haunted house like black folks would.
Right. Well, because we were poor and in college, and you sign a contract and you put a deposit and you pay rent, and if you're going to leave, then you got to find another house. And when you're poor and you got to go to class and everything, you don't really have time. That's part of it. And I was skeptical, so I was like, whatever. I didn't say those things. I didn't do those things.
Okay, set apart one is a woman.
Okay.
Okay, yes. Can we talk about the beard? To cut around the sides or not? Hubby is asking. So here's the deal on that. Look, this is clearly not as long as this. So clearly I've trimmed it. It says you shall not, I don't know the exact verse, but it's basically you won't shave the corners of your head and your beard and stuff like that. And for that reason, like Hasidic Jews grow those long curls that they tuck behind their head. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but the reality is people were doing these weird cuts in their beard back in the day as part of pagan worship ritual. You're not supposed to do that. And so my interpretation is, and if I'm proven wrong, I'll change. Don't be doing like the stripes in your beard and all the weird, like playing with it and stuff. Just let it grow. But if you want to trim it here, I think that's fine. You've got to search your heart on that. But don't round the corners of your beard, right?
Smile Mary says you put up with a lot when money is tight. You sure do. You don't have as many options. Just wanted to thank both of y'all for your wisdom, helping out the youth. I can't read it when you move it.
Sorry, sweetie.
Here it is, dark blues, burnt orange, and grays backlit by the moon. It's pretty. Oh, well, cool. My husband just shaved his beard off for work yesterday. I'm still not over it.
Sarah,
he has to wear a respirator.
I have a story. June 7th, 2004, I shaved for work. It was about 7 o'clock in the morning. I went in late that day. It was my last day. And I threw my razor away. I quit shaving. It was my last day that I had to be in uniform for the military. I quit shaving not for some religious reason, but because I was tired of the Army telling me what to do. And I didn't have to do it anymore. And so I grew this big beard. And back then it was dark brown. And SK, people used to say, how long are you going to grow your beard? Because I worked for the federal government and I read the regulations, and it said employees, if they have a beard, will have a neat and tidy beard. Dude, that's a hole I can drive a semi truck through. So I started growing my beard just to see if somebody would tell me I had to trim it. And SK told me she wanted a ZZ Top beard. And so people would say, how long are you going to grow your beard? And I would just look at them like that. And they would be intimidated. And so my beard got down to about here, dark brown. And nobody ever said you have to trim your beard. And I just decided I'm going to grow this beard until somebody tells me I got to trim it. Let's see what they do. And ended up, long story short, I got a different job, and I left the federal government and I went to work for private industry, which paid 3 times as much. And I had to be clean shaven for the job. And so, I thought wrongly, for those of you with beards, I don't want to show up to this new job with it was summertime, with a white face down and a tan face up. And so I'll cut my beard off 2 weeks early and tan my face so it doesn't look like I had a beard. When I shave my beard off, actually sun goes right through this thing. Maybe I don't have a super thick beard. I don't know. But I shaved my beard off. And 2 funny stories. You just killed the phone.
I don't think I did turn it off. It's just the screen.
You did. 2 funny stories. One, the day that I was going to work, stand by.
Right there.
Yes, you have to be circumcised. So I shaved off my beard, and I look really different without a beard. And I was downstairs, and my daughter, their bathroom was downstairs. They slept upstairs, and we had this big mezzanine thing. And she comes walking across the mezzanine. She sees me downstairs sleepy, and she looks at me, and she fell to the ground. And she's like, "Whoa! Oh!" Because she thought there was a strange adult male in her house at 6 o'clock in the morning. And she's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And I said, "Sweetie, it's okay. I got to shave my beard for it." She's like, "Ah!" And then I went to work that day, and the people I worked with for 8 years had only known me with a beard. And it was a secure facility. We had to wear badges and stuff. And I would walk down the hall, and people I'd worked with for years would look at me and go, "Hey, how you doing?" And keep going. And then all day long, people are coming to us. "Oh my God, you shaved your beard. Why did you do that? Oh my God, I didn't recognize you." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." So there's the beard story. All right, let's see.
I'm getting something.
Yes, you need a circumcision. The good thing is, anesthesia.
And
They didn't have that then.
the spirit will move you. Some good comments.
I'll be honest, I would not want to be the subject of that look from PJ. I have a feeling when the kiddos were young, that look was all it took. Yeah, I have a look. I don't know what look you're talking about, but I do have a look.
You do too, know.
I guess I do. I have angry eyes. Thoughts on women coloring their hair when they go gray. Okay, I'll give you my thoughts. First of all, there's nothing in the Word, in the Bible, in Torah, against it. So if they want to do it, go for it. I told SK when we were like in our 20s, in Oregon. I noticed then at that time a lot of women had short hair, like bobs and wedges and stuff.
I'm going to eat on camera now because we didn't have dinner yet and I'm starving.
And I don't mean to offend any elderly women, but I personally, you do what you want to do. It's your hair, it's your body. I don't like it when women cut their hair off and perm it and make it blue. And in Oregon, when we were there in like the 80s or 90s, elderly women whose hair was going gray just let their hair be long and let it be gray. Who cares? And I told SK then, when, you know, she had brown, reddish hair, I like that. And so personally, for me, let it go. It's natural. What say you, SK?
I say I don't like going into salons. I don't like have other people touching my hair and everything. And I also don't like paying for it.
Except me.
So, I don't know, 15, 20.
That looks really good.
Thank you. Years ago, I decided I'm done doing that. I'm not going to go pay to get my hair cut anymore. And I started cutting it myself. And then for a while there, I didn't cut it at all. And,
I like long hair.
And nowadays, I cut it occasionally to, you know, even up the ends and stuff like that. But I colored my hair when I was younger. I'm giving my hair a break.
What's this? No. He said you'd look good with pink highlights. That ain't gonna happen.
I've already had
good for you, Raincat.
Hair, orange and striped.
Set apart. My husband lost a tooth, going bald. Hey, what happened? What's going on?
Probably just one, we're moving around, also the service.
What happened? There's my finger.
It's slowing down. There.
Okay.
Nearly every something Asian woman dyes her hair.
Whatever. You do you, boo. I don't care.
Modern Yael, it's true, and yet I choose to ignore it.
What did she say?
We have to look glamorous or gorgeous or something.
Men don't. Why is that locking up? Can you guys not see us?
Again, I think it's the service. They're probably...
Look, it's not moving.
I tried keeping up coloring my hair and it's gray again in a week. You're too young to have gray hair. Video is just lagging a little, no big deal.
So one thing,
star.
When our kids were in a school one time, they got lice. Remember that?
Yeah.
So we had to do the lice treatment for our kids, and that's when SK pulled them out and homeschooled them. And something we heard, I wouldn't say learned, but I think it's probably true, is that one can dye one's hair, and that will kill lice.
Right.
And so I told Kate, SK, the next time anybody in our family gets lice, I want you to dye your hair fire engine red. Never happened. Oh, many guys now are prettier than the women when I was young. Philip said it's lagging. Yeah, it is.
Lone Star Living said it's lagging.
We might have to end it. We've been on for a long time.
2 hours and 13 minutes.
All right. Well, I think it's time to end it, don't you?
Sure, why not?
Because that's looking really good, and I don't want to eat on camera. All right.
I'm shameless. I'm eating on camera.
Bless y'all. It was nice chatting with you. We're going to go because the camera's not working. I hope you can hear us.
They can hear us.
Okay.
They said they could. But, okay. It's late. We're going to have our late dinner. Thank you so much for showing up. We really appreciate it. Thank you for all the thumbs up and the donations.
Yes.
It's really fun interacting with you all, and I will try to get over my malaise and do more lives because I really enjoy them too. All right, y'all. All y'all. including Revolting Man's little what is that? That's not even a fire team. What is that?
I think he has a squad now. He has a lot of quivers in that arrow.
Yeah,
I
Revolting
mean, a lot
Man
of arrows in that quiver.
and his
I need more
squad.
of this, clearly.
Bless you guys. Shalom. Okay. We don't have another